Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome to the TMZ Podcast. Harvey Levin here.
Fabian here.
Cache McClay.
So, Amber Heard, this is... I got to tell you, I was talking to somebody over
People
the weekend.
love to hate Amber Heard. That much we know.
I was talking to somebody over the weekend. This is as entertaining as it is tragic.
Oh,
It
for
is,
sure.
yeah.
You
For
know,
sure.
it's just remarkable to me. I mean, we're going to get into this thing with Amber Heard and makeup and all that in a
Right.
minute, but I just got to say, it is just remarkable to me that Johnny Depp sued. I knew it was going to come out this way.
I'm not mad at him.
I'm not mad at him.
No,
I just
don't
think
hold
it's
anything against him either.
look, the problem is when this is over,
It doesn't matter. His career's already in the toilet,
It's
Harvey. He has
been- yeah,
nothing
it's
to
been in the
lose.
toilet. It wouldn't
have
He has
been-
nothing to lose
Well,
at all.
okay, let's-
he had already
it's
lost.
a lot that is
Well, anyway, let's-
making it worse
let's-
for sure.
So
No, I don't know
Amber,
about all that, but
so
anyway.
Amber Heard says that Johnny Depp beat her and that she covered up the bruises with a certain type of makeup. And
Yes.
that's why people didn't see the bruises.
Right.
There's a slight problem in what she's selling.
Yeah, I mean, so this was during opening statements a couple weeks ago. One of Amber's attorneys, I think her name is Elaine, I don't know how to pronounce it, Bredhoft or something like that.
We'll call her Elaine.
Elaine, she was making her statements to the jury saying, we're going to show you evidence of Amber Heard covering up her bruises with makeup. And then she put up a specific makeup kit. It was a Milani kit. And she showed it off specifically. Even though Elaine did not specifically say Milani or that it was this specific kit, the fact that she was holding up that kit in the moment led people to believe that this was the kit Amber was using between the alleged abuse, the
Yeah.
years between 2014.
An understandable
and
assumption.
Yes.
And she also, to add in, she also said she would mix these specific colors
Yes.
together. So she was kind of pointing directly to that.
She was.
Yeah.
And
I mean, come on,
and then
she was.
Milani itself, the company itself, has a TikTok account, and in sort of like tongue in cheek, they came out and called out Amber Heard's lawyer and said, no, this makeup kit you're citing here did not come out until 2017, years after you claim Amber was using it.
They divorced in 2016.
Yes,
they
yes.
split.
So this kit did not exist
To be
during the
fair-
time that the lawyer said Amber was using it.
guys.
To be fair, though, I will say in the video, she does say she used the kit also in other foundation and makeup, but she
Right.
was going in about the kit. But
She was
Yeah.
going in about the kit.
She did.
This is dynamite that somebody just exploded in the middle of the
and
courtroom.
if you watch the video that Milani posted, they really get into this in a kind of funny way. It looks like one of their employees is like, because it's a TikTok video. You know, in TikTok videos, you can hypercut things and make it very funny or whatever. And you see the employee like digging through their own research and their own archives, and they're like, yeah, no, we released this in December 2017. There's no way you had this kit at the time. So people saw this, and even though it was kind of tongue in cheeky, people latched onto it because there's a huge.
Well, this is relevant.
It's totally relevant, but like I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's a huge justice for Johnny Depp camp that exists out there. It's huge online. People say that Amber Heard people are defending him and saying that Amber Heard claiming that she's the actual aggressor here. She's the actual abuser here. This is what they say, and we'll see what the jury decides in the end. But like people latched onto this and they were claiming, she's been exposed. Her lies are falling apart, blah, 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 blah. This is what people were saying online. And I mean, I got to say, it doesn't help her case. And if Johnny Depp's team is smart, they will latch onto this and lay it out for the jury later, you know?
I'm not trying to throw shade here, but when Amber Heard gets up on the stand and theoretically, when they cross-examine her, this could be brutal.
Yeah.
Really bad.
I'm wondering whether this lawyer is up for it, because this lawyer last week, I think it was, made an objection and screamed, "Your Honor, hearsay." It was a photo.
Yeah.
Photos are not hearsay.
And it's funny because like whenever
I'm wondering now, can this lawyer do the cross?
Right. And look, I mean, both sides have been objecting to a bunch of stuff during testimony, but like every time one of Amber Heard's attorneys objects, they usually cut to Johnny Depp, and he's often smirking, like rolling his eyes, like these guys. It's just so funny to watch. There's a lot of entertainment value in this case.
I think it's going to be a big deal when they, examine Amber, but I don't think this is like the biggest deal in the case. I mean, they've come out with some crazy videos.
Right. It's not the smoking gun per se.
Text messages.
Right.
So I think it'll.
Guys,
I don't know.
This is bigger than just an aside.
You're
right.
Messages,
it is. It's a big deal.
Listen.
It cuts to the foundation of what she's claiming.
That for sure.
The foundation in a literal and figurative sense, actually. Yes.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
I'm telling you.
But
I mean,
what if they're like,
this goes to the core of the case.
Right.
It's about, did he physically abuse her?
Right.
And if they're trying to make a case about something fake where they're suggesting she used this makeup, that's not an aside. That goes to the core.
But Harvey, as a lawyer, can I just ask you, what if they just came out and said, you know what, I misspoke about this specific brand. It was a different one that she carried. Would that hold any weight?
It'll leave the jury in my, well, I'm not even the lawyer, but I'm sorry. You answer. She asked you. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't know how the jury's going to process it. They could either say, sure, they made a mistake. But the other way they could look at it is,
I don't know.
It's like now you're doubling down because you wouldn't just put a particular makeup up without talking to your client.
Right.
I mean, why would
it's
why
a huge
would
oversight?
Why would the lawyer dream up a makeup kit without talking to Amber Heard?
Right. It's not going to be good.
This is a big deal.
It is. And the last thing I'll say about this, and I know that you're kind of on the side of like, look, they both seem bad. Maybe they both attack or hurt each other or hit each other. Who knows? Look, here's the truth. I know that there's video of Johnny Depp losing his temper, slamming the cabinet doors, and apparently getting into some kind of little scuffle over the phone. And I know about the nasty text messages. Okay. Those are abhorrent. But here's the thing. There's only one person so far who's on tape that I've seen admitting to hitting the other person. And it's Amber Heard admitting to hitting Johnny Depp. So,
you're right. I mean,
we'll see.
You are right. And look, I'm just going to end with this.
Yeah.
That tiny dog did not. That poop was as big as the dog.
Yeah.
The dog didn't.
You think it's Amber's?
I don't know.
That or a friend or something.
A person.
This is a human being.
Sure.
The poop was as big as the dog.
Yeah, I drop those daily.
Okay,
anyway, hashtag me poo. Anyway, we can move on.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Are we going to go to Mike Tyson
We
here?
are indeed.
Okay.
So Mike Tyson, right after getting off the airplane, after smacking this guy who clearly harassed him, he was interacting with a fan, was sweet to the fan, and it just, I mean, look, Mike Tyson didn't have a right to punch this guy.
No,
he
legally speaking, of course not, right.
But I completely understand.
But on the streets, if you ask the streets about this, the streets say it's just fine.
Forget about the streets.
Yeah.
I understand why he did it.
Right, for sure.
I mean, I think it makes a difference that the plane was still on the ground. I think that makes a difference.
Totally.
That when you're sitting on a plane and before it takes off, somebody is doing that to you, and you know there is a prospect of them doing it for the next 5.5 hours because he's flying across the country.
Yeah.
I think when it sits on the ground and this guy starts that way,
because they were leaving from SF to go somewhere else.
Miami.
That's right. It was a long flight.
And so it elevates the anger that you're feeling as somebody is hovering.
And this man would have been emboldened, probably thinking, "Oh, Mike Tyson's not going to do anything.
He was emboldened.
Yeah, I can get away with this." So Mike Tyson put his foot down. He didn't have the right to hit him, obviously, but there's other ways he could have dealt with it. But Mike, first of all, what people say about this is like, how are you gonna antagonize Mike Tyson of all people, the former heavyweight champion of the world? And Mike Tyson throws down like he's a brawl. You know what I mean?
Unless he wanted to get hit.
And that's what I'm thinking. Because,
he's going to sue Mike Tyson. I know that for sure. I mean it's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
The whole thing. It seems like they kind of been like playing around. Yeah. He gets punched. She's still recording him. I don't know. I'm not going to say he wanted the violence, but he didn't seem to be.
Well, when he mugged for the camera afterward, with the pouty face, it just felt.
Yeah, it almost seems like they were setting it up, which is a shame because Mike Tyson took the bait.
Exactly.
But getting to the story this weekend, we published a story basically showing that Mike Tyson, I think later that same day after the flight, when he got to Miami, he posed with another fan who was calm and relaxed, and Mike Tyson was more than happy to smile with the guy. So that's the thing. It's like if you come at people the right way, which this guy obviously didn't, then you'll be fine. But
we even seen a couple weeks ago, we did a story about Mike Tyson keeping his cool when the guy was trying to run
with the gun and stuff.
With the gun.
Yes, that's right. So even a guy with a
gun. And he hugged the gun.
Exactly.
So even a guy rolling up on Mike Tyson with a gun can still get away easier than this guy got away with.
And we saw Mike Tyson try to keep his cool for a little bit. He was trying to stay patient, and then he just sort of loses it. But we can see that he probably has these run-ins a lot. We saw it a couple weeks ago, and he kept his cool, but this was the wrong time.
So my favorite part of this is, so the guy hires this big personal personal injury firm. I think they advertise Morgan and Morgan.
Oh boy.
And I love it. So the lawyer comes out and says, yeah, I mean, we're representing him because he's in shock and going through this psychological trauma, and we also have to deal with the media. So, we haven't decided what to do. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So you hire a personal injury firm that you now want to be your psychologist and your PR rep? No. You hire the personal injury firm
to sue.
That basically is touting in its advertisements, we have gotten $13.1 billion or whatever it is for our clients. I mean,
it's like the cheap commercials that you see late night on TV or
whatever. They are
going
to go after Mike Tyson.
That's why I feel so bad, because
money.
Mike Tyson took the bait he shouldn't have, and now he's gonna have to pay for it, which seems wrong, and it is wrong. But.
Although I will say that Mike Tyson's team may want to lowball this guy because. If this ended up going to trial, I could see a jury telling this guy, screw you.
You think so?
You think so?
Yeah, because look, juries do this all the time. It's like if in closing argument, his lawyer says, what would you do? I mean, if you were sitting there, what would you do? And whether this is a technical violation or not, what would you do? And are you really going to award this guy money for something that he incited?
But a jury can't weigh in on emotion. They have to weigh in on the law, right?
It's called jury nullification, and it happens all the time where juries ignore jury instructions
emotional appeals
because it just doesn't seem fair.
Right.
And this wouldn't be the first time that happened.
Well, I hope that goes Mike's way then in that case.
Elon Musk.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Elon Musk.
This is big news. Elon Musk is about to become the new owner of Twitter.
I think that's right.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are tons of reports flying right now that they're in final negotiations, that the board of Twitter is poised.
By the way, we're doing this early Monday morning, and so if you're watching this a little bit later, I have a feeling he may own it.
He may, in fact, own it later today. They're poised to accept his $43 billion offer, which was his final offer. He made it about a week and a half ago at this point. He firmed up the money that he needed. He got $46.5 billion in financing from different sources, including his own money. And they had a sit down this weekend, Sunday, and it apparently went into the wee hours of Monday. And now it looks like Twitter is about to accept his offer because they were under pressure from shareholders, like, sell, get this money for us. And it's wild because, like, Elon Musk is going to change Twitter if in fact he becomes the new owner.
So how is he going to change it? What do you think?
So the Wall Street Journal reported on this, like some of the things so apparently what Elon Musk was doing Friday and through the weekend was lobbying some of the biggest shareholders on Twitter to get them put pressure on the board. What he says he wants to do is you've heard talk about free speech. He feels like Twitter is censoring too many people, which that's up for debate.
Well, no, I mean...
They do. They tend to censor.
But not just censor. There have been situations now, especially with the pandemic, where they wouldn't put certain things up because they said that it was wrong and it turned out to be right.
Yeah, that's true. And so Elon Musk has a problem with that. He wants to address that. He wants to make tweets longer, apparently, which I'm so for. Like, I'm so sick. Yeah, I'm sick
I am so sick of 140.
Yeah, me too. I need more.
They did make it a little longer from like years ago.
They did. It was hella short before, and now it's like a little longer. But Elon Musk wants to make it longer, which I'm all for. Twitter. And he also wants to pivot away from advertisements, which is another thing I'm super happy about, because every time you're on your Twitter feed and you scroll to the top, there's always some promoted ass tweet.
Get into
it's
what
so
that
annoying.
Would mean.
What that means, if he pivots away from ads, is that this is probably going to become a subscriber-based service. And then Twitter has been free for a long time, since its inception. And the question is, are people going to pay for Twitter? I would happily pay for Twitter, especially as so many people use it for news. Twitter it drives our news cycle daily here at TMZ. Like, we have to pay for it. Like, it's going to be a thing.
We're going to pay for it. But
yes.
I'm wondering...
Will the world pay for it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
it depends on how much he's charging. It really does.
I would say no, except I have come not to doubt Elon Musk a lot.
So
Elon Musk is a maverick. My God, he's
my thing.
else.
I would pay for Twitter. I know you would, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't, because they can't. Like, not and probably, even if it's affordable, to have that extra cost per month is not in their budget.
People
and I
are
think
stingy and stuff.
that will kind of
broke.
or they can't afford it. So I feel like that would kind of weed out who the people that are able to talk on Twitter are. So you might be uncensoring a lot of people, but then some people will be like metaphorically.
Well, but they're not censored. You can't view that.
Not censored, no. But I mean metaphorically, if they're not able to pay for the subscription and get on Twitter,
that's the way of the world.
That's the way of the world, but that's not the case of Twitter at the moment, and that's what makes it Twitter.
Well, but it's true. But at the moment, there are a lot of red flags, restrictions.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think, look, I mean, this country.
Yeah.
when we talk about the First Amendment, and I understand that the First Amendment is about Congress passing
it only applies to the government, right? It doesn't apply to private companies.
But here's how it does. It emanates with us, with people.
It does.
Congress should take our cue. And if we start, engaging in censorship
to the extreme,
right, Congress takes note of that.
Yeah.
And if they think that it's a popular thing to do, they're going to jump on board.
Yep.
And so, look, when I was in law school, I mean, this was kind of inculcated in us. But the idea behind the First Amendment is not that you accept free speech as long as it's between the lines, things you agree with and all. It's that you have to accept
all
free speech.
Yeah.
No, not just all of it,
yeah,
but free speech that you find abhorrent. And that's the essence of free speech.
In America.
Well, that was the essence of what the framers meant,
right?
Which is that it's easy to say, hey, you have free speech as long as I agree with you. Right. That's easy.
Right.
The hard thing is what free speech really means, which is if you say something that I find disgusting, I shouldn't be able to say you don't have a right to say it.
Yeah.
And that's what the essence of free speech is. And even the ACLU has lost that. The ACLU I am beyond disappointed in what they've done because it used to stand for this.
Yeah.
They were the ones that fought for the Nazis' right to protest in Skokie.
Right.
And it would never happen today with the
It
ACLU.
wouldn't.
They've even said that we want to make sure that the free speech is aligned with our values. Well, that just means as long as you agree we believe in free speech.
Yeah.
That's not free speech.
Right. And I 100% agree with you, but I think where it's a little more murky these days is when you start getting into like misinformation and like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. Like, is misinformation free speech? Is it not?
Yes.
Misinformation's free speech?
Let me tell you why.
Like if you're claiming like election fraud stuff on Twitter.
Listen, I get it.
That's technically false. Like, isn't that
that
bad?
Here's the problem with it. And I get it. And I understand the argument.
Yeah.
The problem is, look, the election wasn't fraudulent.
Of course.
Joe Biden won the election.
Right.
Now the question,
evident in the fact that he's in office right now.
Well, and the fact that he won the electoral vote.
Yeah.
He won. What Donald Trump is saying is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But all of that said, if we muzzle them, then they end up kind of working around us and
becoming even more extreme.
Yes.
Right.
And wouldn't it be better to have a public dialogue where where you hear the views and then you shoot them down? Yeah. That's what discourse is. That's what speech is.
But to play devil's advocate, Harvey, the discourse doesn't always happen. Like as long as there's misinformation. So there was they invaded the Capitol on January 16th because there was misinformation being passed around because people riled together on social media. So it does have consequences.
Yeah, if misinformation is allowed to sort of fester and build up without any regulation or whatever from like Twitter or other social media platforms, it can bubble up into like actual real world stuff.
Who's the arbiter of misinformation?
I don't know.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, that is the problem.
It's not as bright line as you think it is.
Right.
That there's a lot of stuff. I mean, remember the business with COVID, where everything seemed so clear,
right?
But it wasn't.
Right.
And you weren't allowed to say you could get COVID after you got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because the party line was you couldn't.
That's true.
And now it turns out it's just you won't get hospitalized if you get the vaccine, but you can get COVID.
Right.
So they were muzzling that.
They were.
Is that right?
No, it's not.
But
I'm curious to see how Elon Musk handles it now.
But hold on. They viewed that as misinformation at the time. So the way you characterize it is based on your own personal views.
But then some people did take, some information and created their own narrative with the vaccine. It might have this, like I understand what you're saying, but there are consequences, unfortunately, to.
Right, but here's the worst part about what the censorship is.
Yeah,
there are huge consequences to that.
Oh, of course.
Because if you want to censor them, and then they get in power, they're going to censor you.
That's the truth.
For sure.
And then the walls close in.
You're saying that the greater good of free speech,
it
outweighs whatever
you have
potential.
I
understand what you're saying.
That's the concept of it that you learn in law school.
Right.
That is the concept of it.
You'd have to take the good and the bad, no matter what.
That's exactly right.
Now, if Twitter charges, free speech won't be that free because it's only to the people who can pay.
Oh, right.
True.
Free speech for $19.95 a month.
Yeah, we'll see what Elon does with it. I'm very excited.
Okay, well, I want to do two other things really quick.
Okay.
Will Smith. and Chris Rock.
Okay.
They were both in the news this weekend.
Yeah.
So
they were.
so Will Smith is resurfaced. We haven't
In
seen
India.
in Mumbai,
Of all places, he's halfway across the world.
I would too. I would
He
book
fled.
it. No.
Will Smith fled the country. He's a ref. Oh, anyway, go on. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's just wild.
But look, I mean, we got video of him.
Yeah.
He got out of the car. He seemed really happy,
All
posing
waving.
with pictures.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this kind of goes to, he's not getting canceled. And I mean, this whole bullshit about cancel
Is he hiding though? I think he is.
I don't think
He's
he is.
probably getting away.
I think it's his way of resurfacing.
Yeah.
He will resurface.
Yeah.
It was a slap.
Yeah, it was a
I
big
mean,
deal.
it was a big deal.
It was.
It was a huge deal.
Yeah.
But it also wasn't murder.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's not going to get canceled. Meanwhile, Chris Rock's mom,
Yeah.
she and everything I know is that she is co-signing what Chris Rock feels too.
Yeah, and all the brothers have said it at this point too.
Chris Rock
the Rock family is united on how they feel about this.
Absolutely.
They're still outraged.
And they, to me, justifiably
Sure.
are not accepting Will Smith's apology.
no,
No,
huge.
my mom would be the same exact way,
100%.
and my siblings. So it's just like you kind of understand where the family is coming from.
I
If
love
he's
her
not
line.
gonna yeah,
When he slapped him, he slapped me.
he slapped
Yeah.
me, and that's I get
Poetic.
that. I don't think Chris Rock needs to say I'm so mad. I think his family's saying it. We kind of already expect it. So I think it's
I do
normal.
think that Chris is going to eventually talk about it, but I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm sort of
I don't
hoping.
know.
I'm sort of hoping that this is like the last we sort of talk about it until
Yeah.
he had formally discusses it. Because I got to be honest, I don't really give a shit.
But what does
anymore.
he
like,
need
it's
to
it's
say?
over. It's like
he
weeks.
got
I'm
slapped.
exhausted from
It's
it.
weeks
Yeah.
I
over,
know.
and like the mom's coming out super late, and at this point, Chris is like holding on to like. I think he's just waiting for a Netflix special for them to pay him out.
I don't know.
But at that point, I'm not gonna even watch the special. I'm just gonna find the clip on Twitter, get the gist of what he's saying, and that's it. Like it's over, dude.
You know the
like
problem?
he waited too long to speak his piece.
I
So
know.
it's too late.
The problem is it's going to cost you $19.95 to do that.
I'll pay. I'll happily pay.
You get the last word.
Yeah. I'm just curious. What do we want him to say? I don't think there's
Who, Chris?
Chris Rock. I think his silence is
it'd
golden.
be cool for him to be like, I'm not. Excuse my language, but like if he said like, "Yo, fuck Will Smith," if he said something like that, I'd be like,
He's
"There
not
we
gonna
go."
do that. He would have already
Yeah,
I think he said it by saying nothing.
by saying that.
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't think he's going to say anything.
No, I agree.
In fact, I think the best play for him is to say nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe it is, and if he does, that's fine too.
The best play is to say nothing. See you Wednesday, everybody.
See ya.
Like.